at the end. So I think it's Heather's turn. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. She's been a co-teacher with me. So she used to be a teacher as well. And now she is a homeschool teacher. She teaches her son at home. And she does several different things. One thing, she helps run her husband's vet business. And she also does a lot of online advocating for Crunchy. And she is a Crunchy advocate. She sells makeup and other skin products that are free of all the extra junk that, like I was telling you with food, that they don't actually tell you about. And she gets on Facebook and she will tell us the things that are in some of our lotions, our soaps, our makeup, different things, and what aren't good for us. So today she's going to do a grounding session with us.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I was wanting to get you guys outside with me so we could actually do it together, but when I get out there, I get kind of shaky service, and I didn't want to break up a whole lot. So, but I am going to kind of walk you through it, and then hopefully that'll help with mindset, and then you'll be able to do it on your own or with your kiddos or even at school, because I know a lot of you are educators. So I do have some notes in front of me because I'm really excited about these online events, but then I get kind of nervous and kind of sweaty. So when everybody's been talking, I just want to really applaud you for being here, whether you're catching it live right now, pat on the back because you're here. If you're catching it on replay, pat yourself on the back because you're here. And if you even go back and watch it again, you'll catch all kinds of little tidbits. I've, like Kayla said, been a co-teacher with her, and then I've had the pleasure of being with Carol before as well. And even sitting here, I'm catching all kinds of tidbits and making notes. So yeah, I'm a former educator, and right now I did decide to keep Colin home. He's in first grade and we're homeschooling. So just getting your movement in and staying grounded is challenging, more so than usual. So my health and wellness group is Bold, Beautiful, Clean. If you're searching for a community, a safe place, a positive vibe place, because I know Facebook can be just so filled with ick right now. So join us, Bold, Beautiful, Clean. It's a community of women, good vibes, and we're all in this together. That's a thing right now as women, and men, we really need to remember is community, togetherness is so beneficial. And I pulled a quote. I have some cards, and this is one of the things that helps me ground myself, is just having like a daily reading or a daily journaling session, and they're called "The Universe Has Your Back." And it's just, I just flip through and daily pull a card, and usually it will speak right to me. And today's was, "When I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see." And sometimes I'm going to hit a little bit more on that, is just changing that mindset and keeping yourself grounded with the earth and then with the environment around you can be really helpful. And nobody is perfect. I float in and out of this all the time. And sometimes I'll message Kayla, or she'll feel me vibrating in a certain way. And somehow Kayla can always tell. I really think this about her. She's an amazing person. She can tell when I'm vibrating in a negative space, and she will come right in. And it's amazing that we connected on such a hard, quick way when we were at school for just a year together. I only taught with Kayla for a year. So my history of movement, I used to use movement as a negative punishment way. So I was using movement in a fearful, negative space. So I'm a recovering bulimic, and sometimes I just wouldn't eat at all. So I'm recovering with food, and so these talks really help me stay balanced and stay centered and have that healthy space. That's still scary for me to say out loud, but I feel like it's part of my journey, and sharing that about myself can hopefully help others. And that will never leave me. I think I will always battle with that in some sense. So that tied in with my punishment, with my movement. Now I'm able to move with running, yoga, grounding, and do it with a sense of love instead of punishing myself mentally and physically. 2-3 workouts a day, that's not great. When you're punishing yourself like that, it's not creating a positive mind space or a positive body space. And it's all about your heart and where you're presently at. And it's okay to take a break. So get grounded. And Carol said this word, and I wrote it down, intentional. Intentionally grounding yourself can be so earth-shattering. And that can be through clean eating with those earthly foods like Carol was talking about, oils and crystals. Our other girl, Harley, I saw Susan in here as well, connecting through crystals and oils and earthly things can help you get centered and grounded. And then what we're going to talk about is movement. Another thing we talk about in my group is body burden, kind of like Kayla talked about. The FDA doesn't regulate any of this stuff. So like what Carol was saying with the hormones and the antibiotics and all the extra pesticides, everything, that's not only in our foods, but that's in our makeup and skincare products, shampoo, hairspray, body wash, pretty much everything that we're putting on our bodies is coming into our body. So releasing that body burden through ingredients and food and movement can really help and relates back to everything you're talking about in my experience. Like, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just sharing from my love and my journey. But movement encourages release for your body and your mind. So when you're grounding, you can transfer anxiety, if you're suffering from PTSD, having self-harm thoughts like what I was experiencing, trauma. I also suffer from anxiety and have gone through trauma, as I think all of us can kind of relate at some point in our lives. So you're really transferring that feeling of fear to a feeling with love. And you can think about this in so many different ways. Your feeling of fear and hatred of your boss, and transferring that into a feeling of love. Your feeling of fear of yourself, evolving into something else and something great, and transferring into love. So when you're grounding, there's so many different ways to do it, and there's no wrong way. You can do it barefoot, going out into the grass and just planting your feet. That's one of my favorite ways. I'll just go out, and usually it takes the sun and the feeling of the earth to really get me in that centered space to feel more grounded. But it is, and if you feel, and you can kind of even dig your little toes in there into the grass or into the dirt and just be. And I drop my arms down to the side, and sometimes you'll even see me just opening up my chest space and my head space towards the heavenly, and then you're also grounded on the earth. You'll also be able to see this, feel this. You can lie on the ground as long as you're in a safe space. Make sure you're in a safe spot if you're going to just lay down. I also like to sit. We have this section in our backyard, and it has some rocks, and I have my little special turtle guy, and I like to just sit there with bare feet still, and I'll just sit in the sun, but still I'll have my arms kind of back, and so my chest is lifted, and I'm able to take those deep breaths and just release. You can do it in the water. If you're close to an ocean or a lake, you can do some wading exercises, anything that's just surrounding yourself with earthly goods. Hiking is also a really good spot. If in this area we have so many good trails, so just getting outside and getting into nature and really stopping. Take out your earbuds. Don't take your phone with you, and hear what's going on around you, because there's some beautiful stuff, and we're so stuck in this fear-based space right now, especially with everything that's been thrown our way as educators and as mommies and teachers and everybody. It's overwhelming. So finding that sense to release the fear and then bring in the love There's equipment, which I didn't realize until I posted this in my group, and several of my girls were like, oh my gosh, there's mats and sheets and socks and all kinds of cool stuff that you could use. Oh, I'm flying through this. I'm doing good on time. I ramble when I get very excited. But like I said, you're wanting to, everything has a vibration, including you. And when you're vibrating positive, when you're happy, when you're in a good space, when you've got your movement in that day, whatever that looks like. I love to run, like I said, and yoga and hiking and just being outdoors in general puts me in a positive vibration. If I'm stuck behind my desk all day, when I was teaching in the classroom and it was a rainy day and we weren't able to get everybody outside, you know, you feel kind of trapped in that space. So taking a break to leave my computer and go outside for, even if it's just 2, 3, 5 minutes, and can be a mood changer. But when you're vibrating positively, you're able to attract those positive people that you want to collect as your people, as your tribe. But when you get stuck, and like I said, it's okay. Give yourself grace to float between the positive and the negative, because nobody can stay in that positive space all the time. It's okay. Just make sure that you find someone like Kayla to bring you back up into the positive vibration. Because I don't want anybody ever to feel like they're stuck in that negative vibration, because then you start attracting those negative people who can be kind of vibe suckers, and that's not good. So be fluid, allow yourself time and space to navigate states of being. I already told you that I personally run and sit and sun myself.
One of the things I was thinking about was, you were saying that I always seem to know when you're having a rough spot. I think part of it is when you have a thought about somebody, you may not even know what it's for or whatever, but all of a sudden that person just pops into your mind. And I think that's God or the universe or whatever you want to call, telling you to check in on that person. And a lot of times we think about that person and we just dismiss it and keep on going. But whenever I learned to tune into it and go call them and check on them, there was a reason why I had that thought.
Totally. I absolutely agree with that. So if you, that's an exercise that, you know, I would encourage you to do. If someone pops into your mind, take the 30 seconds and use your phone for a good purpose and reach out to them and just tell them, like, it was amazing. I just thought of you and it brought a smile to my face. That will put you in that positive zone. And that brings me back to that book that we focused on at school that year that I was there, is The Bucket Filler. Be a bucket filler, fill up everybody's bucket. Don't be a dipper and take joy away. Try to spread joy as much as you can. But in doing so, you also have to make sure that you're filling up your own bucket. Because if you get low, that can be a detriment to yourself and your health. So also, you know, do some self-care, whatever that looks like for you. I did, when I was writing this morning, I was kind of looking how I would probably use this in my classroom. And I thought back to some of these, and I don't know if I can scoot back maybe some and stand up. I think my camera will follow me. But even in the classroom, you could take a, you know, Mindset Monday, Wellness Wednesday, Feel Good Friday, however you want to zone it through. But you could, and this might help you get into your grounding zone too, but stand up. I don't think my camera's doing a very good job. And you're actually just going to tell them, you know, just go ahead and hug yourself. And for a while, you know, depending on the ages of your kids, but they might resist a little bit, but everybody can give themselves a good hug. And just, you know, so you might have some rockers. I'm a mommy. I have 6, 4, and 2. So I'm constantly, you know, kind of rocking back and forth, but just have them have their wide stance and just give yourself a hug and say, I love myself. I am loved. And then, you know, you could switch. And then I have all these t-shirts, you know, like, be nice, but just giving them that sense of, if we can remember, as part of our grounding, is to remind ourselves, remind everybody, and to have that self mantra of, I am loved. and I love myself. And that can help turn that grounding mindset as well. You guys as teachers, I loved recess duty. And I know that some people just was like, I don't like recess duty. I love recess duty because I am so connected to the outdoors that being out there was one of the most joyous parts of my day. So use recess as a positive thing to get that sunlight, and I know probably at recess you wouldn't want to take off your shoes, but just, intentionally being there, being present, and taking in what's around you. The happy sounds of kids laughing and running and screaming and playing. And usually when we're thinking about recess, oh my gosh, I can't wait until recess. These kids need to get outside. They're driving me crazy. But if you can switch it to, okay, they are also transferring any negative vibrations into positive with play and togetherness and freedom of being outside and being in the elements, they're also transferring that energy. So use it to your advantage if you can. And that's all the notes I had, but I'm happy to answer any questions or talk about something else.
I was going to let you know this year the opportunity came up that I get to go to recess. So
yay!
A recess every day. And then there's been several times that I get out there and climb up the slides and go down with the kids too, because I think adults need to play as well.
Yes. Yes, especially right now, just to find any chance to be joyful is a wonderful thing, as long as you're being safe.
What I'm going to